good afternoon. Would you mind if I tell you everyone here looks very hungry to me? We've all been waiting for lunch, especially me, to be very honest. So I would like to keep it short and to the point. Something very simple, something which will relate to every one of you here. And any questions or any queries or any doubts whatsoever, you can just come to us to our booth and we can take it forward. Alright, let me start with a simple story. A few years ago I was traveling to business in Dubai. So currently my company has an office over there. I met a business colleague of mine. Alright, and she had this fascinating story about her cousin brother, which was around 16 to 17-year-old at that point of time. So the story goes this way that this particular kid was studying in a school. Right, and alongside that he had some, his minor ventures. He used to dabble in business and entrepreneurship. And then just out of curiosity I asked him, so what does he do exactly? And she came up with this, some tough jargon like, he runs a e-commerce Shopify store. So at that point of time, things were just moving and we didn't really know what it was. So again, out of curiosity, I told her, just explain me something in Indian terms, right? Just tell me what amount of, achievement he's doing or what he's learning or what is he basically achieving out of it. And what she told me changed entire thing. She told me that her 16 to 17-year-old cousin brother was at that point of time making 6 to 7 lakhs Indian rupees per month just through passive income from his Shopify e-commerce store. And listening to that, I was like, I've never heard anyone from my country, from my background, right, from my cousins or brother, or from my students doing the same thing. So what is it different that they are doing over there? Few years fast forward to today, they gave you my intro. So I run basically 4 companies currently, out of which 3 are into dental and e-commerce. And this first company, Ayvid Global, that you're currently seeing here right now is an edtech company. Right, so it's something very close to my heart, and the whole reason for us, for me and my team to start this particular company was simply the fact that Indian students today, Indian kids, 15, 16, 17, 18, above, right, all of these students have something special in them. It might be your younger brothers, your students, as I believe most of you are principals or CEOs here. It might be your children. We all know that these kids have some sort of potential. And from doing business from a global point of view, what I've come to realize is all the international companies today are looking to pool in Indian talent. More than anything else. It's not just because our resource is readily available, but our resource really had that level of potential and talent, be it in medical terms or be it in engineering terms or any kind of educational platform. So one thing today what India is doing right is we are giving the right kind of education. Today if you see in US and all, if the kid drops out, the parents are okay with it. But in India, if the kid drops out, parents are not okay with it. And that's a good thing. Right? That's a very good thing. We want our children to complete their education, and not just that, but to have further education as well. But the whole problem comes in the picture when our children are having PhDs, MBAs, Masters, and then still there are 10,000 other people who have the same level of degree that they do. Right? So when you do go and apply for a particular job, let's say in IT sector, there are a lot of people with the same level of qualification, giving the same, bringing the same amount of value to the table. So what makes you think your student or your kid or your children will be the special one to secure that high-paying job, be it in pan-India or internationally? Statistically, the chances are far too less. No matter how much grade your grade is, it doesn't matter. So what does really matter is today's companies, and I'm speaking this from my personal point of view because I'm running 4 companies currently, one of which is bootstrap, 3 others we've raised funds, the portfolio which is above $1 million. So for these companies, degrees is a must. Let me be very clear. But we are not just looking at that. We're looking for something more. We have this old culture of bringing in that freshers get a certain level of package and after that experienced people get a certain level of package. But what we are trying to bring here is, even if you are a fresher, you have the opportunity to get a level of salary package that even an experienced person can get, right? And for this particular thing, there are a lot of people with a lot of degrees, but what today, from what I have seen and statistically from what we have seen, me and my team, there are a lot of freshers, or all of these people are lacking real life practical skills. And the blame is not for the education. Our education is extremely good. But what we really need is something extra, something a little bit extra, right? So you can call them as high income skills, both in the tech and non-tech sectors. The real question is, which is the right time for our kids to learn these particular skills? And the answer to that is, the right time for our kids, our students, our children to learn these high income skills is right when they are in their college. Right? So for today's colleges, if you see, they're doing a lot of extracurricular activities like fest and entrepreneurship development, etc. Right? But there are very few platforms where they are providing actual paid internships to these students. So it's no more about you learning your typical MBA, your typical engineering or medical or PhD. Your studies are intact over there. But what happens once you graduate? Right? So as of 2023, if we see all of the current massive layoffs going on, right? So again, one more story, one of my colleagues, she graduated from an Ivy League, she paid crores of rupees, right? And she got a job in Google within 1.5 months due to this 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 and artificial intelligence coming in the picture. She got fired from her job. Now her education was intact, perfectly smart candidate. But these guys are struggling to find a job, and even if they do, there's still, as for an Indian culture, in our country, there's still a huge gap where our student, after graduating, what is the guarantee? The skills that they are bringing to the table are long-term, sustainable and smart. And that is exactly why this particular project, close to my heart, my company, comes in the picture. It's about your kids, your students, your children learning certain skills that will matter. Irrespective of your education, these skills will matter, both in IT sector as well as non-IT sector. And the earlier you learn it, it's better. So it starts from 8th standard, 9th standard, 10th, 11th, 12th, and so forth. We have a different category of service for people who are working. We give them job placements 100% in 8 different countries, namely Pan-India, obviously, US, UK, Canada, Sweden, Malaysia, Australia, and Dubai City, UAE. But since we were, informed that this is a K-12 summit specifically, so talking about kids starting from their 8th standard class to 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th and further, all these kids need to learn certain skills that will make them irreplaceable in the market tomorrow. Because in today's 2023, no matter how much we try to deny it, a simple education or even a master's or MBA or engineering is not enough. It never was. At the end of the day, you have to bring something more to the table. And these are the same high income skills, and not just some skills and certification from some institution. But what about we bring something called as paid internships? As in, while these students are learning, they work on real-time projects offered from real companies. And they not just get these certifications, but alongside that, they get a little pocket money also out of it. Imagine your children, your student, making their own first 10,000 rupees. Now 10,000 rupees might be a very small amount. But just imagine the level of independence they will own, the self-esteem, the confidence that will grow by making your own money at a very early age. And that is the value we are trying to imbibe in our students. So it was never actually about the money, but more than that, it's about exposure. Lastly, I would like to say, I won't take much of your time. I know all of you are ready for the lunch. So yeah, lastly, I would like to say, it's not just the paid internship that this company offers, but more than that, this company offers a platform for all of our students to interact with international clients. Now believe me when I say this, when you're talking in English to a person from India, it's different. And when you're talking in English from a person who's native American, let's say for example, that exposure is different. And we need our students to get that exposure, because tomorrow we don't want to limit their careers just in India. Even if they are getting a high-paying job placement in India, we want them to grow across the globe. We want them to become a brand, independent, right? Thank you so much, sir. Waiting for lunch, yeah? All right. That's all right. Okay. So I'll wrap it up. If to summarize, y'all can just meet me. My name is Divya. Okay, y'all can meet me in my booth. We can have a talk. You can share me your cards. All right. This is about paid internships. This is about getting freelancing projects. This is about your kids, your students, your children becoming independent from a very early age in their life. So they know what handling money is like. They know what losing money is like. They know what it is like to have something of their own. That level of self-esteem, that level of confidence is something that will make them irreplaceable in the market. So tomorrow if they do get fired from their high-paying job, there's always a scope at the end of the day. They will make a fantastic career out of it. Thank you very much.